I'm here today to do a demonstration on how to color on kraft cardstock using black and white Prismacolor pencils to make it look like charcoal. The supplies you'll need for this are any heavy-duty kraft cardstock, Prismacolors. I typically use just the regular black, the PC 935. 50% warm gray, which is PC 1054, and then a white, which is PC 938, and then a blending stump, which looks like this, and then also odorless mineral spirits. This is the brand I typically use, and then of course any image stamped on kraft cardstock. I used Amelia from the Little Dreamers Greeting Farm set and stamped her with Memento's Tuxedo Black. For this, I typically always use the Memento ink when using OMS, just because there are lots of inks that are usually waterproof that sometimes don't react well to the OMS, and I know that the Memento works, so I typically use that. So to start, get everything all stamped out here and ready to go. What I'm going to do is I usually start with my black, make sure it is sharpened, ready to go, and then I start putting in the darkest shadow areas first. And this is a little bit different kind of coloring than normal because you're not going to do as much shading as you might normally do when you're coloring, just because you want to get the really bright whites, you want to get the really dark darks, and a little bit on either side of that, but you want to let the kraft cardstock be the middle values, so you really don't have to do quite as much intensive coloring as you might do when you do something in color. So here we go. I am going to start on, hopefully I'm not going to be bumping the tripod here, let me see. Okay. I'm going to start on her hair, and I always start with the roots, and then I make contour strokes out from the roots, following the shape of the head and the shape of the hair. And I let them be a little bit uneven, not worrying too much about how long they are, or that they're all the same length. It actually works out a little bit better if you let them vary in size a little bit. This image is nice because Marie's given you lots of lines to show you what the contour of the hair is. So if you make your lines follow that shape, you'll be good. Okay, so I have that part done. Now I'm going to go down here to the knot and do a little bit of that. And I will probably go back and add a little bit more to this, but for now this is where I'm going to stop, because when I do the OMS, work with that in here in a minute, that will pull some of these values down just a little bit. I need to step around the tripod here so I can do the other side. I have to do this color these upside down, because I haven't found a way to keep my hand out from and being in front of the lens while I'm trying to do these. And this is a little bit of an awkward angle for me, so these strokes are a little bit wonky. Okay, so now I'll do this part. A little bit up there. And then along her little braid here, I'm just going to do the inside, because that would be the darkest part. And same thing here, I'm just going to do right there. Okay, so there's that for her hair. So now I'm going to take my OMS and my blending stump, and I'm just going to stick this straight in the bottle. And I'm going to start feathering out with my blending stump. Now, one thing you'll notice that this does not happen on white cardstock, but on the kraft cardstock, you can see the kraft cardstock looks wet where the OMS is, and it doesn't really do that so much on white cardstock. Don't worry, you will not be able to see any of that when this dries. it'll fade. You can already see the part up here is kind of fading. The only thing that you will see left behind is the blended pencil. Okay, so I'm just kind of going same strokes as I did with the pencil. I'm just kind of extending and flaring out what I did with the pencil. Okay. And you can see how that kind of makes the black pencil like pop a little bit more than it does when it's just a pencil by itself, and that's why I really like the OMS versus just pencil by itself, is that the pencil by itself doesn't seem to be have quite as vibrant of a color as it does when you add the OMS to it. Okay, so there's that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and take my pencil, put in a little bit more pencil along the part here. Now you might notice I'm leaving a little crease down the middle where I'm not making my lines meet completely. Those of you with little girls out there who have had the joy of doing pigtails know that there's a little strip of skin that always shows right along the part line, and that's why, to make it look more realistic, that's why I don't make those lines completely touch, because you can see there's always a little bit of skin showing there. Okay, so there's that. Now on her, let's see here, how should we color this? On her backpack, underneath the strawberry, I'm going to put a little bit of shadow just kind of around here to make that pop out just a little bit. And then I'll take my blending stuff and kind of blend it out. I didn't even get new OMS that was wet enough from before, so I just kind of left it. And then under the flap, there'll be a little bit of shadow because it'll be popped up a little bit. So I'll put that in there. Fade that out a little bit. Okay, now what else to do here? On her, I'm going to go back in just a little bit more underneath the strawberry now that I've blended it out, and underneath the little strawberry wings and put a little bit more value in there just to make it so that it pops up a little bit. You always want to have the most contrast of values underneath things so that you create separation between whatever objects you're trying to show. And you really don't have to worry too much about light direction, because anytime two objects touch, there's always a fairly dark shadow there. Even if light is directly on it, there will still be a little bit of a shadow underneath something. Okay, so I'm going to put a tiny bit of value in here where her neck is. And kind of smooth that out so it blends in. And then the straps of her backpack, I think I'm going to make those kind of dark. Okay, on the strawberry, I'm going to put, it looks to me like it's kind of a flat strawberry, so I'm just going to put just a little bit of value down at the bottom. And then blend that out, because I don't want it to be too rounded. So we have that, and I'm gonna put the green top in there and just kind of blend that out. Just noticed I missed that part on her hair a little bit there. Now on her skirt, same thing, underneath the backpack, I'm going to put the darkest shadow. And you can use whatever blending technique you like. You can use the little circles or you can use little flicks. I think I sort of use a random assortment of techniques when I'm really just working along, not demonstrating, just for whatever feels right for that area. I'm sure that sounded very Bob Ross, but sometimes it is the way. So got that in there, and I'm going to work along the wrinkles in her skirt a little bit and put a little bit of shadow in there. Kind of pop those up a little bit. And then, like I did before, kind of re-intensify this shadows underneath the backpack just a little bit to create some separation there.